Patrons know what this is. This is actually some sort of heavy-duty planner that my husband got from an event because it was old and out of date. But I really liked it, so I thought I would keep it as a sketchbook. And it has this little space up here for the dates, I guess. There's also spaces down here for a label. And this just kind of made me think, with the binding and everything, it reminded me of those encyclopedias that we used to have that kind of no one has anymore, but I used to love them. So for this sketchbook, I was thinking of turning it into an encyclopedia of my own, which is why I have all these little tabs up here. And I divided all the pages into an appropriate number for each letter. And this kind of gives me something to start with that will help me kind of keep it in alphabetical order if I can. Really strongly inspired by Encyclopedia of an Ordinary Life. It's sort of a memoir done in the form of an encyclopedia. And so every entry, it will have a word like handwriting, and then it has like a little journal entry or story of what that word reminds her of in her life. And it's sort of like building a memoir of your life in the form of short notes. What if you're somebody who draws? Instead of checking off a birding list, I've started kind of trying to draw all the birds that I see on my walks. Here's a whole page of ducks. I've started a fungus page, and I started a gardening page, so I wanted to draw all of the things that I have in the garden. I also really like to write down the years that I got them, because I kind of like to see how long they survive. Here's a whole page about reading. I guess I was feeling nostalgic, because I don't really read anymore, but I used to read a lot, and I guess I had a lot to say about it. Kind of fleeting, random thoughts. I think in order to fill up a book like this, the most trivial things are going to be the most important and also uniquely personal things to add. On this page is an entire silly story that popped into my head when we were passing all these ridiculously fancy window displays in the most rundown street in downtown Vancouver. And I also make little tiny notes to save for later because I never really make enough time to work in this one. And I really don't want this one to be rushed. Do you think we should use the vintage pencil crayons? I'm always afraid of wasting these. But I'm running out of pencil crayons for real. Look at them. Ooh. Another angle I can incorporate into this project is to turn it into a literal encyclopedia of all the things that I've been interested in. For instance, whenever I check the weather, there's always some cute link to a news story about earth science, and little things like that will always find their way into my art somehow. And I don't know if anyone's been watching that digital gardening video that Wild Geese has put up, but she talks about taking notes about the content that you're watching and how you connect with it as a way of finding patterns in the things that interest you and discover who you are as a person and what kinds of things you care about. And I'm going to be honest, lately I've been feeling really lost. And maybe I should start adding these little moments of spontaneous inspiration to my sketchbook, not just to fill it, but also hopefully to discover who I am as a three-dimensional human with interests instead of just a little robot who is glued to a screen, hungry for input constantly. I'm hesitant to film myself coloring little sceneries and objects. Honestly, making any videos has been difficult lately. Because you know those little voices in your head that tells you that stuff isn't really good enough? No matter how easy it is to kind of dismiss them for a little bit, I feel like it's kind of cumulative. And it's been a really long time. And so as I'm making this video, I can't help but hear the voice of a guy who was talking to me over the weekend, who was looking at my art, and he was like, "You need to stop making this. Plants and animals is an oversaturated industry. You should be doing something weird and unusual. Aliens. You need to be drawing aliens. That would be very different and cool." In a way, he's kind of correct. We do tend to kind of fall over each other trying to do the same stuff that everyone else is doing. Because doing the same thing is pretty boring. Trying to cheer myself up or cheer other people up during a time where things are just generally not good in a global sense. It feels kind of dumb. It feels kind of like hopeless and pointless. So I guess I just kind of focus a lot on small things as a form of survival. There's something very nostalgic about working with pencil crayon. It was like the one art supply that they made us get in elementary school that wasn't garbage. So a very accessible and fun medium. But I'm really glad that I ended up getting watercolor at the same time, because using pencil crayons is really hard. It requires a bit of patience, I think, to like cover big areas. Sometimes you have to do many layers because that's what makes it kind of look nice. But I don't know if it's just my grip, because I would just naturally press really hard with them. Like it just, I don't know, it causes so much pain in my shoulders and my hands and my arms. So does anyone ever have this issue, or is it just like a personal grip problem that I have? The Derwent ones, they are not nearly as soft and squishy as Prismacolors are. So I'm going to be pressing kind of extra hard in this video, which sucks. I'm so glad watercolor kind of saved me from that.